Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're looking at 10 forgotten Nintendo spin-offs. For this list, we'll be looking at strange spin-offs of popular Nintendo IPs that many players may have forgotten about. Have you played any of these spin-offs? Is there an oddity you think we should have included? Head to the comments and let us know. Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Super Princess Peach. Most of the time, Peach is the damsel to be rescued by Mario, but this DS title flipped the formula on its head and put the princess in the starring role. It's your standard platformer, though Peach has a talking parasol as a companion and weapon. That's no weirder than Mario teaming up with a talking hat, but what makes it a little strange is Peach's emotion meter. The player can switch between joy, calm, rage, and gloom, with each one offering a different ability to make it through obstacles or fight enemies. Tying a female character's abilities to their emotions is certainly an odd choice, and one that was specifically pointed out by critics. Still, it's a shame that this didn't lead to Peach starring in her own long-running series. Kirby's Block Ball. It's honestly hard to keep up with the abundance of mainline Kirby games, let alone his plethora of spin-offs. One of his weirdest is also one of his best, a clone of Breakout and Arkanoid for the original Game Boy. The player uses two paddles to bounce the adorable puffball into breakable blocks to advance. But it isn't just a reskinned game starring Kirby. It brings several elements from his franchise, including enemies and bosses. More importantly, it also gives Kirby possible copy abilities that offer different advantages. For example, the Needle ability lets Kirby stick to a paddle so you can line up your shot. DK King of Swing. Donkey Kong has starred in some wonderful platformers, though not all of them play how you'd think. The GBA's King of Swing had the Great Ape progress levels by grabbing onto pegs. Players used the shoulder buttons to operate DK's hands, swinging in a continuous circle until you grabbed the next peg, or let go to fling DK in whichever direction he was facing. It was a fairly simple game, even with bananas to collect and enemies to hurl rocks at. But it was apparently successful enough to get a 2007 sequel, DK Jungle Climber. Still, we're happy Retro Studios brought him back to his roots with Donkey Kong Country Returns. Yoshi's Safari. After Yoshi's introduction in Super Mario World, Nintendo seemingly tried to make him a star in as many different genres as possible. By far the weirdest was Yoshi's Safari, the only FPS Mario game. It follows Mario and Yoshi as they venture to Jewelry Land to rescue it from Bowser. By using the Super Nintendo's Super Scope, you could mow down hordes of Koopa Troopas, Goombas, and other standard Mario enemies. Yoshi's Safari was actually created because the peripheral's popularity was diminishing, and the result is a fairly forgettable game. While it was a commercial failure, it's still interesting to see Mario characters from this perspective. Freshly picked Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land. First appearing in Majora's Mask, Tingle has become one of the most bizarre NPCs in The Legend of Zelda. Highly eccentric and afraid of growing up, the character seems to be much more popular outside the US, as evidenced by several spin-offs. Rosie Rupee Land released only in Japan and Europe. It follows Tingle as he collects as much money as possible for Uncle Rupee, who promises him a paradise. The story is definitely a little abnormal, fitting with the character, but gameplay relatively sticks to that of 2D Zeldas, with Tingle solving puzzles and exploring dungeons. It got an equally strange named sequel, Ripened Tingle's Balloon Trip of Love, in 2009. Mario Party E. The Game Boy Advance's e-reader add-on gave fans tons of extra features and mini-games, provided they buy the right cards. Most of what the e-reader offered is forgotten by now, including a full Mario Party game. Despite the series simulating the board game experience, Mario Party E was an actual board game, for the most part. It came with a board and cards to play in person, but it also came with special cards to play mini-games on the GBA. It was a neat experiment, but there's a reason Mario Party has remained virtual ever since. Using the GBA for mini-games meant no actual multiplayer. You just had to take turns, which isn't as hectic or fun. Donkey Kong Jr. Math. While it isn't the only edutainment game Nintendo had a hand in creating, Donkey Kong Jr. Math is one of the worst, and it's probably best forgotten. It featured similar vine-climbing gameplay to Junior's original outing, only this time, players had to solve different math equations while doing so. Essentially, it played the exact same with the addition of homework. Needless to say, no one cared. It was a critical and financial bomb, which has naturally made it a bit of a collector's item today. It was intended to start a series of educational games on the NES before its failure, with a Donkey Kong music game planned next. Pokemon Tretta. The Pokemon franchise has seen more weird spin-offs than most. One of the most interesting is Pokemon Tretta, an arcade game released only in Asia. A successor to Pokemon Batrio, the machines rely on special tokens that hold specific Pokemon. By building up your collection, you can battle in 3v3 matches with any combination you've acquired. Completing battles gets you a chance to catch new Pokemon, with the machine spitting out tokens for the Pokemon you've earned. It also received a short-lived 3DS installment, Pokemon Tretta Lab, which attached a bulky accessory to the back of the handheld so that players could battle others from their home, which really didn't seem worth it. Arm wrestling. Punch-Out was a hit thanks to its energetic gameplay and unique fighters. Its spin-off, focusing on arm wrestling, not so much. The premise is just as simple as its gameplay. You want to be the world arm wrestling champion, and 5 wacky characters stand in your way. Players hold the joystick to the left to arm wrestle until a right arrow pops up on the screen. Timing the direction correctly will stun your opponent and give you a leg up by mashing the cabinet's single button. That's really all there is to it. Unlike Punch-Out, it was never ported to the NES, nor has it ever been added to the eShop, making it pretty obscure.
It's a new record.
Mario's Time Machine. Mario starred in way too many educational games in the early 90s. And while the awful Mario is Missing is remembered for being Luigi's first starring role, the equally bad Mario's Time Machine has mostly faded into obscurity. The game follows the mascot as he travels through time to return artifacts stolen by Bowser. Time travel is represented by Mario surfing and collecting mushrooms. Honestly, the most interesting part of the game. The rest has Mario talking to citizens in each time period, gathering information to take a fill-in-the-blanks quiz in order to return each artifact. It's a history test disguised as a video game, which is the exact opposite of what any kid would want from Mario.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, there's more where that came from.